stop and wonder what would happen if Professor Utonium didn't add the chemical X to his formula? Like, would he have created the perfect little girl? Is that where babies come from? Are babies real? So the subject of today's video started off as a long-winded, opinionated Tumblr text post before I realised I'm not that guy, so I thought I'd bring it to the table in a more friendly, judgment-free platform like YouTube. I'm so sorry. So today I'd like to talk about the concept of shipping, specifically real person shipping. If you don't know what shipping means in this context and you're thinking that this video is about human trafficking, then hang on, because you're in for a treat. Also, if this isn't a thing that you do or really know much about, stick around anyway, because you might learn some interesting things about other humans. So in my science fiction class at uni, yeah, really, we've been discussing things like fandoms, fan involvement in media, and fan fiction. The entire existence of fan fiction stems from a fan's dissatisfaction of what's happening in the TV series or book or whatever, leading to them creating their own fantasy canon through art or fiction. This can be about either the plot, the character development, or in most cases the relationships. The term ship comes from the word relationship and has been verbed into shipping or to ship someone, and ultimately means your own personal belief that a relationship between two or more characters is more suited to them than others. Which I totally get. I mean, I'm guilty of occasionally shipping fictional characters in the past, like I'm on a constant swinging pendulum between Katang and Zutara. But then if it's about altering a fictional context, why do we feel the need to do it to real people? Hang on a sec, I need to open this can of talking worms, so just bear with me a sec. By real people, I specifically mean, for the most part, public figures like YouTubers, actors who aren't in character, that pop group that I don't remember the name of. And I'm also not talking about the people that do it in private, in like the deepest, darkest, unsearchable fanfiction forums. I mean like directly tweeting at people or commenting on their videos about it, publicly interacting with people about the fact that you ship them. It's a thing that happens, it's a thing I've experienced, and it's ultimately a thing that's causing a problem that really is the reason I'm making this video in the first place. I'm going to talk about YouTube shipping specifically, and I think it's because that YouTube is constantly getting bigger. More people are watching content creators, and of course fandom culture is seeping into that. YouTubers have fandoms. There's the Crab Sticks fandom, the Lizzie Bennett Diaries fandom, the Chronicles of Syntax fandom, the Chronicles of Syntax fandom. And with an internet fandom, of course, comes internet fandom behaviour, things like shipping. Personally speaking, as a public figure who has been subjected to shipping, I am against it, and I'll explain why. When you tell a real person shipper that you're against the thing that they do, a lot of them try to attempt to justify it by comparing it to a situation where you think two of your friends who are acting cute around each other would make a good couple. Which is, I mean, that's a totally legitimate thing to think in that context. I mean, that just shows that you have at least a basic understanding of the fundamentals of human interaction. But the instant that you slap a big dopey label on that, like ship or OTP, you immediately negate that understanding of human interaction with the need to apply it to a fictional fandom context. Words like shipping are deeply ingrained into a culture based entirely on manipulating fiction. So when you place a real life person or a relationship into that system of thinking, you're basically telling the people involved, I don't like the way you're living or the choices you're making, here's my interpretation of your life, this is the right one, so you should start doing that. Which is a fairly problematic thought process. And a lot of people say, oh, it's not really hurting anyone, but sometimes it can. If the people involved are acting cute and maybe they do have unspoken feelings for each other and they see a person shouting, I ship it! Any cute feelings that may or may not have been there suddenly transform into this giant loud elephant in the room wearing a Supernatural t-shirt and a cheap fez. And they're left feeling like everything they do is under public scrutiny, and ultimately their choices and relationships aren't theirs to make unless they have public approval. Overall, I think the problem just comes from both a lack of imagining people complexly and blurring the boundary between how we should interpret both reality and fiction. The difference is that with fiction, stories and characters are given to us as an art form to interpret them how we will, but human lives aren't. When creating a fandom or joining a fandom for something, it's very easy to fall into all those typical behaviours even when they don't or shouldn't apply. YouTube and social media as a whole are still very new art forms for everyone using them, creators and audiences alike. And we do all need the time to progress and find a happy interactive medium between those two parties. And I believe that that starts with videos like this one, so please do let me know your thoughts about this in the comments, because I would like to have a bit of discourse going on about this. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks so much for all the positive feedback on my last video. For anyone who missed it, I did an a cappella cover of the community theme song, which you can find a link to, as well as the link to episode 4 of Chronicles of Syntax in the end screen. I'll see you next time. I can't count the reasons I should stay.